I know gold is not in her. She's a diamond.
So today's video is on about direct mediumship and throw-out mediumship. And there's many videos on YouTube. I didn't even realise there was that many on there until I had looked myself. But it's something I actually feel quite strongly about anyway. I am able to do both. I try to stick to one area more than the other, but when required I will do it. So let's break down direct mediumship first. Now through this direct mediumship, you will hear teachers, tutors, clients, recipients and just general public say things like, well, if that's their mum, they should know exactly where they're going, and they'll have this very uneducated approach to it, when in actual fact there is an element there that I fully agree with. That if I am with someone's mum, that they should know where they're going. But to keep my mind in that space will require a energy and a development of that mediumship to constantly keep going there. Now there's arguments from both sides. Now if I say I want to come to the lady there in the bright pink top with the blonde hair, and I have your mother here, and then go on and try to provide evidence, that's deemed as a good approach to mediumship, and it seems pretty split at the moment, you know, without me actually running a survey. It seems pretty split across the community. Now for me that is not actually direct mediumship. I don't agree with that style of mediumship, and again that's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it the same way the direct mediums will have their opinion on throw-out mediumship. But with direct mediumship I totally believe that if I do have mum here and she is there for the lady in the pink top with the blonde hair, then I should be able to say I have mum here, and mum makes me aware that her name is Doris. Let's go with Doris. Doris is quite a popular one, isn't it? So let's go with Doris. And Doris makes me aware that she passes at the age of 67 while at home in her bed. And she makes me aware this is of a cancer. This cancer she had for 2 years, and it started in the breast and then moved to the lymph node and then finally spread around her body. By the time the 2 years was up, she had spent the final month in her bed. I know I need to speak to my daughter, and she makes me aware that her daughter is the lady in the pink top and the blonde hair. Now that's direct mediumship, and that is knowing exactly where I'm going. What I tend to see is I want to come to the lady in the pink top and the blonde hair, and I'm aware that I have your mum here, and a lot of the time, a very high percentage of the time, the lady in question will go, no, my mum's still alive. Then it must be your nan. And so the direct mediumship is it's failed on every level down. So there's no getting out of that. That has failed. So you're telling me you've got a mother here and she's directed you to this lady at the front, when the lady has just said, my mum's alive, she's sitting beside me, or I've just left her at home. And so that has failed. That's a hole you're not getting out of. And so the development of that should be trained into bringing the communicator in, getting their evidence, and then asking them to tell you where you need to go, which is the way that I do my direct mediumship when I have to find my recipient. And so I am aware of a mother here, and I know she passed through cancer, and I know it took 2 years, and I know it spread right around. And now as I ask her where I need to go, I know I'm drawn to down the front, or at the back, or on the left, or on the right, or this lady here in the pink top with the blonde hair. That's a direct form of mediumship, and that is not what we're seeing. So what happens is that I am drawn to the lady in the pink top and the blonde hair simply because her top's a lovely pink, or it's a very bright pink, or she's got gorgeous blonde hair, or even more simply, she's got a huge bust that's half out on display, and my mind is drawn to it because I'm a man. And now as I'm drawn to you, I'm aware of a lady in the spirit world. And now as I've done that psychic mechanic, I'm now screaming, spirit world, I need someone to step in, and then a lady steps in, and that can be her mum or it can be her nan. So the mechanic there is psychic because I'm drawn to the lady, I am drawn to her, psychic mechanic. And then as I've gone in now, I've gone to the spirit world. Now I demonstrate that as up, it's not up, the spirit world's here and now. right around us here. So the mechanic, I go from psychic to psychic, so psych to psych, and then I need to go to the spirit world. Will someone please step in from the spirit world for the lady that I am drawn to? And that is the kind of direct mediumship that I'm watching out there at the moment, through the power of observation, whether it be newcomers and the tutors that are teaching them, whether it be professional, as the label will be, like a veteran circuit medium, right up to the professional. And I rarely see the big name professionals in an auditorium of a couple of thousand go direct to the chair, you know. I know I need to speak to a lady because I have your dad here and he tells me you're sitting in chair 45H. That would be direct mediumship, wouldn't it? So you rarely see that in these huge auditoriums. And so this is where the debate is with direct mediumship and throw out mediumship. Now the difference with it is, and I totally understand from both sides of the fence, is that the throw out mediumship that we're watching is, I've got a dad here, he dies of cancer, he's above 50, he's below 90, he's a bit of a geezer, you know, he's connected to London, where am I? I kind of get that. That is a little bit generic, and it probably fits most of the audience out there that have lost their dad, connecting to London, bit of a geezer. I totally understand the direct medium's approach of, I don't like throw out mediumship. However, if you're coming out with, I've got a gentleman here, and he makes me aware of that he's your father, and he tells me he was a plumber all of his life. You know, he left school at 15, and he shows me that he created his own company before the age of 20, then grew this company right the way through to his retirement, where he retired at 60. Then he decided to move to Australia for the final part of his life, but he only got to stay there for 5 years because he actually got stomach cancer, and I know that I'm in that part of the room there. So I know that I've got someone's dad, with all the information that I've got, where am I, who's lost their dad that understands this information. Now that's quite specific information, and I will go to kind of an area there, but I have thrown it out. But it's specific enough that only one hand should go up. So then I don't understand the direct medium's opinion on the throw out when it's so specific. So it's always that this argument will never be settled. It will never be direct's the best way, throw out's the best way. That will never come to one way's the best way. There will always be that matter of opinion. So if you are someone that is developing, I suggest that maybe looking at your own direct mediumship, try to be very specific, but deliver the evidence first, then go direct. And then that way you eliminate any argument from me, certainly, because you've done the evidence first, showing everyone that you're with the spirit world, and they are taking you to the person. And equally, if you're going to go with a throw out option, which many people are doing nowadays, maybe it does feel a little bit safer. Maybe people are more of an easier route when they're being generic. Look for that statement that will put every other hand down and will only raise one hand. So when the throw out happens, one hand goes up and you're immediately there. You engage the audience a little bit better. I do think the best demonstration is going direct, go into an area and completely throwing it out, mixing it all up, giving that presentation value, keeping the audience on their toes. They have to listen at all times. They need to be taking in all this information. So it's the kind of thing that you're looking for, a presentation value, and unfortunately the entertainment value that I have to speak of, because you're engaging an audience, and an audience can be 5 people, 500 people or 5,000 people, but we need to engage those minds all collectively, all at once, all of the time. So there's some of my views on direct mediumship and some on throw out. I'm sure a few of you will have something to say about that, but let's try and keep it a little bit positive, eh? So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, notification bell, comments. Speak to you soon.